Okay, so one of the things you got to keep in mind when trying to heal the mommy wound for all alpha males is this actually a severe brainstem injury. Now, this brainstem injury is cutting off any kind of communication with the cerebral cortex. So, it's not going to happen overnight. You're going to go through periods of severe anger. You're going to feel abandonment, and you're going to feel inferior to all other men. During this period of recovery, you're going to feel a need to devalue every woman that you see. You're probably going to make a lot of comments online, and you might even delve into trollings online. But listen, this isn't your fault, okay? You have lost contact with your upper brain, okay? And we got to reestablish that contact. It's going to take patience. We suggest a 12-month period of time of sensory deprivations where you do not go online and you not look at females and you don't think about it. No. It's going to be very hard for some of you because you see, the way your brain's hardwired is that you're in a fight or flight reaction triggered by looking at women that is attractive. And also at the same time, you've been hardwired to have your reproductive organs be the primary basis of fixing the emotions caused by being triggered by the very women you're attracted to. And so this creates a conundrum where you need them, but you're trying to devalue them to reduce their value so it doesn't make you feel quite so inferior. So it's sort of like what you're doing is it's like when you watch a black widow spider trying to mate. If you notice, the black widow female is 100 times the size of the male. The male is a little nymph trying to roll up, hit that from behind, but you see, he's going to have to risk life and limb because at any point in time, the female could bite him and then lay some eggs on him, and then the baby's going to use his carcass as food. And that's pretty much sums up the relationship of the functionality of alpha male with the mommy wound, severe traumatic brain injury to the brainstem. And so that causes you to function primarily in a reptilian reproductive way, while at the same time sustaining a high level of anxieties. And that anxieties improperly contextualizes the females as an enemy. And so when you judge and evaluate them, you're trying to associate them with your own feelings of inferiorities. But you see, the feelings of inferiorities and the fear was there before you start engaging with adult females. See, you've had this injury since you was a little teeny toddly boy, okay? So what you got to do is you got to allow yourself healing. You got to write birthday cards, Christmas cards to your mother. Give your mother a call. You got to try to rekindle that relationship at all costs. I don't care if she passed away. You got to visit the grave, write her some notes, do whatever you got to do. Because you see, when you go online, advertising your mommy wounds by talking about modern women, you only exacerbate the inflammation of the brain. You see, as you go into a defensive reactionary posture by exposing yourself, it's like when they bring a little chihuahua over to, say, Caesar Milan, and he's all misbehaved and shit, and you put him into the room with the pit bulls and stuff, and he starts acting tough, little ankle biters, you know what I'm saying? So you start acting like an ankle biter online, telling everybody you're an alpha male. Well, I'm just saying, when you say you're an alpha male and you start talking about other people's, it does not really convey the message you think. But you see, because your cerebral cortex is not involved in the cognition, this primary defense reaction, and the limited amount of brain power in your cerebellum and brainstem is not allowing you to properly understand the way that other people would be seeing the things that you're saying. See, without access to the upper dimensions of thinking and visualizations, you're unable to empathize and reason by including an understanding of the experience of other people's. And so as you primarily defend yourself in a fight or flight reaction while being a victim, while also dealing with the profound frustrations of needing your reproductive organs to satiate the emotions caused by this severe reaction due to this traumatic brain injury, you are only conveying the very weakness you're trying to say isn't there. And so it's really important that you just go cold turkey on the social networking, the trolling, and the hating on the women. It's really important that you do not advertise yourself as a dating coach. See, you are in a complete mental breakdown at this point. Full cerebral collapse. And when you do this online, you are causing more problems for yourself than good. Because when you try to come back later, everybody's going to remember your complete mental breakdown. Okay? And so it's very ironic to see a grown-ass man in a car, hasn't shaved, hasn't been taking care of himself, calling himself an alpha male, and not even clipping your nails. And so you are not in reality. And so we got to get oxygen to your cerebral cortex as soon as possible. You got to start getting into that sensory deprivation chamber. You got to turn the oxygen way up. You got to get off the internet. You got to go no contact with any females because you're too vulnerable. Okay, you obviously are in a severe reaction, and the noradrenaline is even constricting blood vessels that might be causing brain atrophies. You're starting to show sign of severe mental decline by the time you go online and say, the problem with modern women. The problem with modern women is there's men walking around with traumatic brain injuries and blaming it on the women. So we need you to relax, sit down, take a deep breath, put an oxygen mask on, turn off your phone, delete the applications, get off of Snapchat, and stop texting your ex-girlfriend those dehumanizing things, blaming her for your own traumatic brain injury that you've been walking around with. Okay? So if anybody else has any questions about the recovery process from what we call alpha male syndrome, aka traumatic brain injury, it's an injury, okay? It is an injury at the low level of brainstem, disconnecting the upper brain from all levels of functionalities, okay? Anyway, if you want to find out how to reconnect this, stay tuned, all right? All right, everybody, let's get it going.